Your Excellencies, Your Graces, brothers and sisters, good morning. I know the topic is heavy, but good morning.
Good morning.
We warmly welcome you to the Ecumenical Centre. We are delighted that you have responded positively to the invitation to this very historic and important conference on the refugee crisis in Europe. The Ecumenical Centre hosts a number of ecumenical church organizations, including the World Council itself. And as you know, the World Council of Churches was established soon after the Second World War, and more or less the same time with the United Nations. That means that churches in fellowship with the World Council of Churches, in the World Council of Churches, have a legacy and a long history in working with the refugees and migrants, particularly in Europe, in terms of resettlement and humanitarian assistance and rehabilitation. They were not doing it alone, but together with other actors in Europe. And as we meet here, we are reminded of that history. And it is not just history, because the World Council of Churches continues with its members to work with uprooted people, refugees and migrants all over the world. And through the ACT Alliance, which is the arm that brings together member churches and other civil society organizations. This UN high-level conference focuses on Europe because the crisis is for Europe and refugees and migrants. We have all followed the developments the whole of last year. The pictures, the images, the voices, and the issues surrounding movement of people, forced movement, have been with us. We are therefore gathered in order to reflect and discern the causes of the current migrant and refugee flows to Europe. This does not mean that we have lost track of other refugee situations. As you walk in the lobby out there, you will hear and see the voices of refugees and migrants through the pictures and the written words. These are men, women, boys and girls made in the image of God, crying out for a just and peaceful life. A people forced out of their habitation, separated from their loved ones, and rendered poor, hopeless, and dehumanized. They are reaching out for a hand to help them cross the valley of death, the shadow, the mountains of death. We are gathered at this high-level conference to draw from your experiences and wisdom as we seek to move away from rhetoric and words to concrete action, as we thank and build on the actions of actors working so hard, dedicatedly, to integrate and meet the needs of refugees and migrants in their societies. Our expectation is that both state and non-state actors in Europe will develop and implement concerted, coordinated, and collaborative efforts towards addressing the refugee-migrant crisis. These efforts and actions must therefore reflect the aspirations, the spirit of the European values and standards that respect human dignity, human rights, and human democracy. Once again, we welcome you to take this opportunity to share your ideas on the implementation of the refugee migrant policies, safe movement, and how to better integrate these men and women of God in our societies.